Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video. Welcome back to the channel today. I'm kind of nervous because we have a really weird topic on the table. Thing is that my favorite type of videos to make on this channel is where I should, put a topic out there, give my opinion, you guys give your opinion too in the comment section, and we have like a small debate. The thing is, and the reason why I'm so nervous is because this is a topic related to death and to tragedy, surrounded in a lot of mystery. And the line between what's disrespectful and what's just an opinion is really thin, and it's really easy to cross the line. So I'm sorry if at any given point during this video I am a little out of pocket. It's not my intention. I have nothing but respect about every single one of the artists that I'm talking about here, because today we're talking about a weird phenomenon in music. The thing is that when an artist passes, you see a peak in their sales, like a huge peak in sales, popularity, and even critical acclaim. And the reason why this is such a delicate subject is pretty much because ever since social media, people have used this phenomenon, an artist peaking after they die, to argue that they were overrated, that, you're just listening to their music because it's trendy to do so. You can see this in cases like XXXTentacion's or Juice WRLD, the most recent cases. Obviously, there's an argument to be made that a lot of people tend to think more highly of an artist if they died in certain circumstances. That, obviously that's true. However, it is really annoying when someone you actually do enjoy a lot or enjoyed at a certain point dies, and then people say that you're only listening to them because it's trendy now because they died and they're getting a lot of media coverage, and it's kind of like cool to listen to this artist. And another thing that's really annoying is if you do what I do, which is posting your opinion on music on the internet, and people argue that you're being offensive if you don't like a certain type of music. People don't allow you to criticize someone just because they're not with us anymore, which is again really annoying because that should have nothing to do with your opinion on an artist's music. So it is a really weird subject to talk about. However, I think it's one of the most interesting phenomenons that music has to offer, and one of the most disturbing too, because what exactly is it about death that people feel so attracted to it, to the point where they seem to enjoy someone's music more if they know that they're no longer with us, especially if it was a recent death. One of the most popular cases is John Lennon's assassination in 1980. John Lennon was already one of the most popular humans in the world at the moment, and actually he was one of the most popular things of all time when he was with the Beatles. Actually, he himself argued that he was more popular than Jesus, and even though at the time it seemed kind of offensive, you can look back on it and understand what he was trying to say. The Beatles are so big that even religion isn't as popular as we are. Nowadays it's not so impactful to say such a thing because religion is not as big of a deal as it was in the 60s. It's still a really big deal. I'm not saying it's not, but it was, back in the day, it was way more important and way more popular and way more mainstream to be religious. But after his assassination, John Lennon's popularity peaked to a high that it's never seen before and would never see again, because John Lennon became one of the most popular human beings on the planet. It's really easy to be confused in thinking that John Lennon was always as popular as he is now, but no, don't get confused, okay? Don't get it mixed. John Lennon was one of the lead members of the greatest band of all time and the most popular band of all time, and still he wasn't as popular back then as he was at the time of his assassination. And John is just one of those cases. We also have Prince, one of the most legendary discographies that music has to offer, an amazing artist, amazing performer, really good guitarist too. When he died in 2016, his sales and popularity overall went up 40,000%, and this is not a made-up number. This is the official number we got when he died. 40,000% more people. Prince was packing some really good numbers, so 40,000% more sales is still crazy, and his popularity in 2016 was almost as big or bigger than the one he had in the 80s and 90s where he was, more popular. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson in the 80s and 90s was way more popular than Prince, was one of the most popular human beings on the planet, and his popularity was so big that it rivaled that of the Beatles. And still, when he died in 2009, he became as popular as he was during his prime, which is again one of the most popular human beings of all time. Not releasing any music in the process, not releasing any music videos, not touring. No, he just died, and all of a sudden you get a lot of sales. Now, if you look at these situations, it's really easy to tell why the sales go up. It's just old fans going back one last time as a way to pay tribute to, the artist, because at the end of the day, their music is their legacy, so what better way to remember them than to listening to their music once more. But this is even more weird and disturbing, and it hits closer to home when the artists themselves hinted towards their death, like it happened with David Bowie, for example, one of the greatest examples. And in 2016, David Bowie gave us one of his best records and a masterpiece, one of the greatest albums of the last decade. Black Star was David Bowie going deep into self-analysis and exploring themes of mortality, of his own death, of his life, his regrets, the things he was happy about, how he was sort of ready to confront death, and the poetic side of this album is so deeply rooted in this fear of death, but also acceptance of it, that when news came out that he died shortly after releasing the album, it almost seemed like he knew it was happening. Therefore, he wanted us, the fans, to know, I was ready for it, and you should just accept it, even though it's okay to fear it. And that is the reason why that album, in my opinion, even though musically is not at the same level as other David Bowie projects, because we're talking about one of the greatest discographies of all time, I still feel like it's able to rival those albums because it has something more than just music. This is basically someone's musical will. This mystery goes to other records of other artists, like Joy Division's discography, for example, where here we're talking about a man writing his own demons and writing his own feelings and putting it onto the music. We're talking about one of the saddest and most depressing music one can hear. And what happened after the second album was released, which is one of the most disturbing releases and one of the greatest albums of all time, Closer in 1980, Ian Curtis, the main singer, the main vocalist and songwriter of the band, kills himself in his kitchen, letting us know in some twisted and also sad way that everything we hear in the previous albums comes from honesty and comes from self-analysis, comes from someone who managed to have that amazing ability, managed to nurture that ability to put your feelings on a pen and paper. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I hold Joy Division's discography in such a high place in the history of music. Another case would be Kurt Cobain, the main lead singer and songwriter from Nirvana. You also have XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD cases where they both often talked about, waiting on death with a smile on their face, which I personally think it's kind of corny. It's not the same type of lyrics that you'll find in a David Bowie or Ian Curtis song. Definitely way more simple and way more melodramatic. So in all these cases, I can definitely tell why people look at an artist differently when they're already gone. Death is one of the most mysterious concepts that one can think about because we don't know what happens. I mean, if you're a religious person, then you kind of already know, but even though you go to heaven, you go to hell, whatever, you don't really know how that feels like, how it feels to be dead. So there's this thought at the back of our heads. I think that whether you're religious or not, I myself, I'm not, but there's still always this thought in the back of our heads where we constantly fear death because we know it's the end. We know there's nothing else beyond it. And it's because of this that we value something so much after we know that it's gone forever. It's almost like that family member that you really didn't care for most of your life, and then all of a sudden when they're gone, you feel like you lost something so dear to you. It's because, let's say it's your cousin, let's hope it never happens to you watching the video, but let's say that you lose your cousin, you weren't that close with him, you only see him once in a while in family meetings, whatever, right? But when he's gone, you know that you're never gonna have that cousin again. He doesn't exist anymore. And that feeling, that thought, plays with our feelings in ways that I can't even comprehend. I can tell you myself, I lose things that I don't even use, and I feel like I need them all of a sudden. And it goes down to like the most minimal thing, like when I'm out of Coke Zero, for example, I crave for Coke Zero like nobody's business. And I think that feeling kind of exponentially grows when you go to things that have more meaning to you. In this case, music. Tomorrow, if I were to find out that one of my favorite artists passed, their music would turn into such a treasure for me because I'm not gonna have anything else. There's nothing more. The person that gave this to me, the mind that produced this music that I enjoy so much, is not with me anymore. It's not in the same planet as I am. They don't exist. And I think that is the main reason why this is such a touchy subject for a lot of people, and such an interesting concept for me, such an interesting thing that people that, never heard of, say, Mac Miller, Freddie Mercury, Prince, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, John Lennon, George Harrison, Elvis Presley, you don't know that, you never heard about them during their entire life, but all of a sudden when they die, there's this weird attraction that makes you want to explore their lives, their music, and anything they did while they were on this planet. And I think that that is one of the main reasons why people are so attracted or so eager to enjoy, to explore, to listen to this music when they know the artist is no longer with us, because it has this weird aura behind it that makes everything they say have more meaning. Obviously, there's the other side of it, which is marketing. Obviously, when a musician dies, it's on the news, a lot of people see their names and they're like, oh, let me check out this guy. Or, oh, maybe I heard about this in the past, but I never paid attention to it. Let me go in it now. It's like media coverage also has a lot to do with it. And obviously, old fans going back to their music and enjoying it once more as a way to pay tribute. But I think that most of the people who kind of find an artist and enjoy an artist after their passing, if it was recent or a long time ago, it's because they feel this weird attraction towards the music due to the fact that they know that they're listening to someone who no longer exists. And there's in a disturbing way, I think there's a sort of magic to it that I can't explain, but I think, that's the way I feel about it, which is the reason why I wanted to make this video. That'll be it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. I'm sorry if today's video was a little bit more gloomy or weird. I know that usually I just talk about music. I don't really talk about feelings and stuff like that, but I just think this is such an interesting topic and I wanted to make a video about it. However, next week I'm planning to make a Björk tier list, so if you want to see that, go ahead and leave it down below in the comments. Or if you want to see any other type of video, I do reviews, I do tier lists, I do ranked videos, I do versus videos, I do any kind of videos you guys want me to do. So if you want me to talk about a certain topic, go ahead, leave your comment down below and I'll make sure to fulfill your request as soon as I can. Also, I want to say one more time that I mean no disrespect to any of the artists I mentioned on this video. For the most part, I have nothing for respect for them, for what they did as musicians, so please do not take any offense to the things that I said. I think it was just a fun topic to talk about. And if you agree, and you want to leave your own opinion on this topic, or if you disagree with something I said, you can go ahead and leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to check it out. Once again, I hope that you enjoyed and I hope that I can see you soon with a new video. But until then, bye.